Dearest listeners,
Book babes and book bros.
welcome to Book Babble. I'm Rachel,
And I'm Tanya, and we're the Witlet Women, your host for the day.
and today we have Natalie. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi guys, I'm Natalie Knolls. I am in the Chicago area, so I'm an hour behind. And I'm just like really like it's still like mind-boggling that I'm here right now. So I'm just like bringing out.
We are so excited to have you on and talk about Be Your Somebody and just like your author journey as a whole. So Natalie, are you ready to babble?
Bring it on.
All right, I'll put 5 minutes on the clock.
All right. So, what inspired you to write these stories or this book that we're about today?
Yeah. So a little like background. I'm a trauma therapist. So I have my degree in psychology. So I know someone said they were a mental health therapist. Not sure who that is, but oh, hey, well, hello, friend. So I've always found that for me, writing was just a way to get everything up here out. But fun fact, this book came to me at 2 a.m. in a dream. And then right after that, I was like, okay, I'm gonna write this down because like something in my brain's like, this would make something. Like, write this down. It kept like pestering me. And then like a couple hours later, tornado sirens go off. So it was like, you know what? This just something about this story was really in my head. I'm like, I feel like I have to tell it. So that's kind of where that came from.
So if you have read Be Your Somebody, if you haven't, spoiler alert, there are real life difficult issues that you talk about in them or in it. So, along with your psychology background, how much research goes into into your stories, into the books that you have written and plan to write?
Yes. So with this one, it was a lot of heavily based off of what I studied. Obviously I would Google does this make sense and does this and this fit? There were certain aspects of that I had to really like I have some information on addiction, because a lot of times addiction and trauma are very they relate a lot more often than not. So I had to kind of Google like about overdoses, like specifically like heroin over because he overdosed from heroin. I don't think I mentioned that much, but so I was like, okay, like what are the symptoms after that? And what's going on with this? And so I was spending, time on that. But as far as like so a lot of it too is like I was pulling research back from past clients that I've had. So some of this story is from clients, like I put pieces together from what they've told me. But there was a lot of Google searching going on. There was a lot of Google searching going on. There was a lot of Google searching going on for book two as well. 'Cause I'm like, how does this work and how does that work? I'm like, I don't know everything. So Google has been top tier for me.
Bless the Google gods.
Oh, hallelujah.
Yeah, no, that was one of the pieces that really drew me to your book because, like you said, I'm a counselor and my specialty is in forensic relations, so that always comes with substance use at some
Yes.
point, right? So addiction is huge in my life. Yeah, so it was exciting and kind of nerded out about that, but
Oh yeah.
yeah,
I always nerd out
um,
about that. I was like, yeah, here for it.
yeah. So, what is your process for writing? Just like the technical piece, how do you get the stuff from your head to your paper?
Mm, very chaotic. I've had multiple conversations with fellow author friends where I'm just like, I'm plotting like five books in my head. So like my brain's just always going. Um, but this book, it was very like out of order. Book two, I wrote it from start to finish pretty much. But this one I was like, oh, I like the spice scenes came naturally. So I'm like, I'm gonna write this and then I'm gonna go backwards and go forward. So I think for that it's just when I have an idea like ruminating and circulating in my head, I'm just like, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going. I'm just gonna see what happens. Even if it makes no sense to me later, I'm just like pure chaos. Get it out of here and into there. You should see my notes app. It makes some. I look back. I'm like, what was I writing? So yeah, pure chaos. I would say.
The chaos is the best part, though.
I
So,
know. Honestly, I feel like all art comes from some sort of chaos.
yes, exactly. Okay, so what character from all of this chaos that you've created do you connect and identify with most?
Um, ooh, I I would say Avery's anxiety for sure. Um, a lot of her like self-doubt and self-insecurities I really struggle with. But I also struggle with Cass's like family trauma at the same time. So a little bit of both, but I would say lean towards more I would say I actually lean more towards Cass and his like upbringing and family trauma than Avery.
Relatable. Um,
I
so
talk so
you
much, so y'all have to stop.
you did fantastic. You hit it right on the dot. That's amazing. So our 5 minute AMA session is up. This will be chopped up and put on Instagram. We're going to continue chatting, so the rest of the interview will be on YouTube and Spotify for all of your listeners and viewers. So I just want to take a second and share a little story with everyone. Natalie and I are gonna we're gonna tell you all about how we met in the wild. So I randomly went to this book signing. Rachel wanted me to pick up a book for her because she had to work. I was like, I don't want to go by myself. But I went, and one of my friends, Morgan, came with me for the first like half hour, then she had to leave. But I was sitting there and I remember your friend came up and she was like, "Oh, I really like your hair." So we started talking and she's like, "Do you have an Instagram?" And I said, "My Instagram handle." And you're like, "Oh my gosh, wait." It was the best time ever. I could not like I don't even what was going through your mind?
I second because like when so my friend who's also an author, she was like, "Oh my gosh, I love your hair," and I was thinking the same thing. I didn't vocalize it at the time. I would have done it if she didn't do it. But the second you started like the first three letters, I was my brain was like something. I'm like, that sounds familiar. And then you said the whole name, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "How is this possible?" Like, I had no idea because like when we're in different time zones, like you could be where you are, or you could be in a different area, right? So, and I didn't even know, like, you don't even realize, like, you're not really thinking much. But like the second I met you, I was like, it felt, to me like it was a sign for something. I'm just like,
Yes.
how is this possible that you and I meet completely random before I'm set to go on this? I'm just like, what is happening? It was release day weekend.
Yeah.
I meet you. I'm already like, like trying to process. I'm still kind of trying to process that I have a book out. And I'm just like, it was just so much, but like overwhelming, but in like the best way possible.
I was basically like I was speechless almost. All I kept saying was, "Wow, I can't believe this. I
I
can't
know.
believe this."
I
Like
know.
literally nothing was going through my mind except for what were the chances? Like how did that just happen?
And every time I talk about it with somebody, like, because I every time I, bring up this, like, I'm gonna be on this podcast, and I was like, oh, it's, funny story. I actually met one of the girls in the wild, and I explained the story, and I'm
It
like,
was
what?
like the only word to say it is wild. It really was
It's
wild.
it is like 100% wild.
Because I was literally sitting in the corner, just like minding my own business because I have horrible social anxiety. And I was just like twiddling my thumbs, waiting for the signings to start again. And then
Mhm.
your friend came over and started talking, and I was like super nervous. And then
Fair.
immediately, once you're like, "Oh, I'm on your podcast," it was so much easier to relax a little bit and like actually talk to you guys. Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
know. It was such a good, like, it was like the best happy accident.
Yes. And the happiest part was you gave me so many free goodies.
Yeah.
And I'm actually going to do a quick little plug of this character art because it is insane. One of them is not suitable for work, so it is covered. But if you can see, he even has a very detailed wolf tattoo. And like she has freckles all over her. It's amazing. Like your artist was phenomenal.
Oh, she did. Oh, I can't wait to work with her for book two.
Small little plug. I actually started doing character art, so if you ever need anything,
Oh my God, please. Yep. I'm here
Yes,
for it.
I will help you out. I also do graphics and stuff, so if you need help, I gotcha.
Oh, see, connections being made. Love it.
Awesome. Okay, so now that we have bored everybody with our happy meet cute, is there anything that you wanted to discuss?
Me.
Yes.
Oh, so a couple of things actually. Um, book two is pretty much it's written. I'm like obviously going back because I had my editor Alpha read it. Um, not as heavy as book one. Um, but book two, um, we get to see Bree and Asher. So
So excited for that pairing.
they're fun. Asher is very sweet, but very demanding when need to be. Um, but he's I was when I was writing him, I was like, oh, this is where we're going. Okay. Because that's how it was with, Avery and Cass. With Avery and Cass, also a couple other fun facts. This was supposed to be closed door.
That
Because
was
I was
not
like,
closed doors.
no, 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 no. I was like, when I had the idea in my head, which I wrote it in a month and a half, it went by fast. Like once I'm in the zone, I just go. Like I become obsessed. Like you know how when you get into a really good book, you just cannot stop.
Yes.
That I felt that was very much how it was for writing when I'm really in the zone. Um, so I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm gonna be able to do open door. I don't think I'm gonna be able to write spice. I don't think it's gonna happen. And then I got to like I was writing it, and the first spice scene was like, I had to stop for a second. I was like, okay, so this is where we're going. This is happening. Cool.
I mean,
Um,
you did a great job though. So even though you
yeah,
didn't plan for it, it did work. And it
yeah,
was well timed too. So
yeah. I was like, because um, I was talking to one of my best friends, and she goes, "Oh, I don't like slow burn." Like, but it makes sense for them because just based off of trauma, based off of recovery, and how dealing with an addict who struggles can be. I'm like, it made no sense to just like, yep, everything's forgiven. We're gonna go right at it now. I'm like, it didn't make sense to me. I wanted that friendship to build, and then that, bam. Um, as far as my favorite spicy, which is the grounding scene, I got that idea on my way home from the private practice I was working in. I was like, just thinking, I was just driving. I was like, wait, like that would be a really good scene. I don't know how it popped into my head, just did.
well, I think they were great. Like I said, both were like they were all well timed. Everything flowed it was very genuine. It
Mhm.
wasn't like you said, just trauma banging and nothing between.
Exactly.
There was Rachel's face. I could have said that a little bit more eloquently, but it's fine.
It's fine.
Like where I live at, where the storms are messing with my internet right now. I'm hearing like bits and pieces of it. I'm like, wait, what? So
Oh my God, that's funny. You're probably coming in at the
yeah.
most inopportune times. You're like, wait, what?
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, so thank you first of all for coming on. Thank you for sharing Be Your Somebody with the world. It's definitely a message that needs to be out there.
Mhm.
You did a wonderful job. And we're excited for your next one. Do you have like any release details, anything like that?
Well, so a couple of things. I haven't officially posted, so y'all are getting the first inside little thing here. Um, I will be attending Cozy and Bookish
Ooh.
this year, in November. It'll for now, right now, it's my first official like book like mini convention thing. I have a book signing in the Chicago area on the 17th, so in a couple weeks. But this will be my first signing. So, I am hoping if everything goes according to plan, I am hoping to have book two out in December.
Ooh, that's wow.
Mhm.
Book convention, book signing, and new
I'm
release.
just like, what is happening? And then I'll have another book signing next year in Chicago. So I'm like, what is happening? But yeah, I think it's pretty much done. I just obviously have to fix a few like plot things, and this one's not slow burn at all. Um,
There's too much chemistry for it to be. Like it was
yeah,
off the charts in the first one, and they weren't
yes,
even really on page together that much.
I know, I know. Um, for that, I Bree really took me through it. I'll be honest. She because she's so fun and she's so bold and bubbly and just like very blunt in book one. But in book two, she's kind of like she's struggling with survivors. Not really, nothing happens. Well, something does happen, but she's struggling with a lot of shame, a lot of guilt. And with that, there's weight gain. And now she's struggling with her clothes don't fit. She doesn't like her body, and so it's like she's really trying to learn how to love herself in any size. And the dedication is like, spot on. It's like for anyone who says your size is uh something about your worth, like your the way how much you weigh is how much you're worth. F them, F them. I'm like I had to put them there. I'm like it felt genuine to me. Um, but yeah, Brie, a lot of her story because a lot of my weight struggles. I'm like I was pouring everything into that. So, um, I definitely RIP'd my editor a couple times. Um,
Oh, that makes me even more excited to read it because I have the same struggles. So,
yeah, yeah, she's and the what I wanted for her, I didn't want her to like have like put on the weight and like struggle with like depression, like with the emotional eating and all that stuff, and then be like, okay, I'm better now. I'm trying to lose weight. I want her to be where she is and stay with it and be like, yeah, you know what? I gained weight. Fine. It doesn't mean I'm bad or anything like that. Um, and I'm excited because like that wasn't the direction I wanted to go. Was planning on going. Um, but I was like, you know what? Feel. I want people to feel seen by Brie. And so when I get my work with the designer I'm working with, we will have a curvy plus size FMC on the cover. I'm super
so
excited for her.
exciting.
I know she's gonna be great.
Yay. Okay, well, we are out of time, but again, I just want to say thank you so much for hopping on here.
Thanks for
Thanks
having
for
me.
all the fun when we met back in what was it, like March, maybe? Or no, that was like
That was
February.
last month.
That was
Uh,
February because it was around Valentine's
it
Day.
was February because that was the release weekend. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, thank you for everything. We look forward to your next publishing so we can have you back on.
Yes.
And yeah, thank you and have a great day.
Thanks. You too. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.